really can't stress the importance of root notes enough. Whether you're playing by yourself or you're playing with a band, or if you're just even listening to music and want to figure out how to play a certain song, understanding the root note is the basis for understanding the music that's being played, especially when you're playing by yourself. If you listen to people like Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan or even John Frusciante, when they're running through these little riffs, they are establishing, hey, I'm playing this note, that's the key that I'm in, that's the chord that I'm playing, but instead of playing a chord, I'm running this maybe major, minor pentatonic riff over it, but you get a sense of what the chord is based off of something. That something is the tonic, it's the root, and being able to identify those and use those to your advantage is really important, and it's also really fun. Today we're going to use that intro that I just showed you as an example of how to identify the root notes, use them to your advantage, and maybe riff over them yourself. My name is Keith. Welcome back to the channel. Alright, so today we're going to be looking at that intro that I just did there. I'm going to show you the chords and then kind of explain what I'm talking about with how to identify the roots and kind of incorporate that into your playing, whether you're playing just straight up chords or you're trying to improvise a little bit and add a little bit of a pentatonic scale run to it like I did there at the beginning. So let's hop down to the fretboard and I'm going to run through it. Alright, I'm going to run through that chord progression real quick one time through, and then I'm going to slow it down, show you all the chords, and then show you exactly what I'm talking about when we're talking about the roots. Alright, so the chords for that little progression there, it starts with this A major on the 5th fret, then it goes up to an E on the 7th fret, then an F sharp minor on the 9th, and then a D. This one has the root on the 5th fret. Okay, so now that we have that, let's identify the roots here. The root for the A is on the 5th fret of the E string, then the E right here on the 7th fret of the A string, then F sharp right here on the 9th fret, and then the D's right here, 5th fret of the A string. Alright, so those are our root notes for that little chord progression. Now, when I say emphasize the root, when I'm running through these little pentatonic runs, I'm hitting the first note as my tonic, as a root. So when I'm running the A major pentatonic scale and I want to imply that I'm playing an A, I'm going to hit that root. Okay, that establishes to me and to the audience that I'm playing an A major. Alright, so that's my little A major run. The next chord is a D, so what do I do here is I slide back down, or the next chord is an E, what do I do here? I slide back down and I hit that E. That says, hey, I'm playing an E right here. And I'm doing a little E major pentatonic run there. Okay, then I'm moving up to the F sharp. Then I'm establishing with that root note. And then I'm going to do a little double stop in that pentatonic position. And then I'm going to hit the D, but instead of going down to the 5th fret, I know that I have a triad for the D right here, these 3 strings, the D, G, and B string on the 7th fret, because the G string on the 7th fret is a D, same way that the root note down here on the 5th fret of the A string is a D. And this is our triad. So I'm jumping from the F sharp minor And I could even, I'm hitting those 3 notes at the same time, but I can just go straight and just hit that note right here. So, then I'm ending on that A. So you get the point here. When I'm running through these little pentatonic runs and through that chord progression, I am saying every time, I'm making it known that I'm hitting the root note for that next chord that I'm playing. I think that this technique is really valuable, especially if you want to play by yourself and practice by yourself, and especially if you want to play like a John Frusciante or Jimi Hendrix or even a little bit of Stevie Ray Vaughan. That technique is really valuable. Now, it is worth noting that if you have a band, the bassist is going to cover a lot of those root notes, but that doesn't mean you don't have to either, that you can't. It's up to you to decide how that goes. But before we end this whole thing, we did this whole little run right down here in this area of the fretboard, but that whole thing could be translated down here to the open position too. So what do we have? A, E, F sharp minor, D. What is that up here? A, E, F sharp minor, and a D. And then I guess we could do the E up here. So A, but we'll use this E just to make things easier. So what am I doing here? I'm hitting that open A and saying, hey, I'm playing an A. Then I'm running through a little A major pentatonic run. Then I'm hitting the open E. Then running a little E major pentatonic run. Then I'm on the F sharp right here. Remember, F, F sharp, minor. Whoa. Then I'm hitting that open D. Then I'm back at that A. I think I'm really out of tune, but let's go ahead and try this. All right, so I think I hammered it home pretty much how important it is to establish the root note when you're running through these kind of little chord progressions, because if I didn't do that, things would sound really off and you wouldn't know what I'm playing. It goes without saying, when you're doing a lot of these chord progressions, you're just naturally going to go hit those root notes just by the nature of the way that you're going to hold the guitar and finger these chords. But having that little extra emphasis does help a lot. Boom. It's kind of like I'm playing a bass, rhythm, and lead at the same time when I'm doing that, which I think is a beautiful thing. I really do hope that this was in some way helpful to you, give you some kind of an aha moment, or inspired you to at least practice. If you got some kind of enjoyment out of it, anything, if it was helpful, please think about liking the video, subscribing, leave a comment. I don't get too much engagement on my videos as far as comments go, so any little thing is appreciative. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful day and bring out your guitar and practice, and most importantly, have fun. I can't complain about that. Oh, one last thing. This one goes out to a fella I know named Ted. He talks about guitars and he talks a lot about tuners, but we have the same haircut.